Hey everybody, Lucas Haneman here, and welcome to this week's episode of Guitar Tone Tuesday, which is going to be about two different things. It's about Santa Cruz Parabolic strings, but also it's about playing music with one of your musical heroes. Maybe this is something that you guys have had the chance to do before. Maybe it's a friend of yours who you look up to as a musician. Maybe there's an established musician who has a great reputation in your neck of the woods who you've had a chance to do a gig with. Maybe it's a famous musician. You know, in my case, I've been very lucky. I've had the chance to do all three. Play with people who are local celebrities, people who are actually famous musicians. And in any case, the thing that really matters the most is how much inspiration you get from the person who you're playing music with and how much they push you to be your best musical self. You know, I'm extremely lucky, and I count my blessings because on a weekly basis I get to play music with the LH Express, my band, which is full of world-class musicians. My wife, Megan, on vocals, Martin, our bass player, and Val, our drummer. They're just such great musicians, and I certainly am lucky for that. But as I say, it's not so much about who the person is. It's more about what they give to you and what they inspire you to do as a musician. And quite recently, I had the chance to play music with one of my musical heroes, my old mentor, Roddy Ellias, who taught me jazz guitar at Concordia University in Montreal. I'm assuming that most of you don't know Roddy. He is definitely a local legend here, and he is highly respected on the Canadian jazz scene. And he deserves more recognition than he gets because he is just top-notch as a player. Recently, I got in touch with Roddy and I said, would you like to do a gig together? And he said yes. So we arranged it when we did this gig at this local place called Hummingbird Hall a little while ago. And it was a special night for many, many, many reasons. One, Roddy's got huge ears. And he listens to everything that you do. And I love that because I aspire to listen as much as possible as well. But, musically speaking, it was just one of those nights where everything was just clicking. It was so great. And as kind of the bonus, we both had our Peggy White handmade guitars, which are made by Peggy White from Newfoundland. They're great, great guitars. And a couple days before the gig, Roddy gifted me a set of these Santa Cruz Parabolic tension strings, which I put on my guitar. And so both of us were playing with Santa Cruz Parabolic strings on our Peggy White guitars, and the blend was out of this world. So, an inspiring night of music with an absolutely fantastic world-class musician. What could be better? Um, got to pinch yourself in those situations. It's really, really special. And I got to say, one thing I love about Roddy is that he's been playing a long time. He's 75 years old. But he's not playing the same way now that he played 5 years ago. And 5 years ago, he was not playing the same way he played 5 years before that. He's always getting better. He's always reaching forward. He's always trying new things. And the rehearsals were magical like that because, we'd go into it with a bit of a game plan and then things would change. And he'd say, let's try these chord changes when we solo, instead of the typical chord changes. And, hey, I reharmonized this Beatles tune. How does this sound to you? And it was like, wow, this is a special thing. And I just love that because that's the way I try to be as a musician too. And it's definitely the way I aspire to be for the rest of my life. So that's a pleasure. So, most importantly, the musical camaraderie of the gig was amazing. Playing these beautiful Peggy White guitars was also cool because they blend so well together. And then the strings were really the icing on the cake. Just listen to these strings. Just thick, rich, fat-sounding strings. When I first put these on my guitar 3 weeks ago, it was interesting. Like at first, they sounded a little bit more dead than I expected a new set of strings to sound. But after about 2 hours of playing them in, they, one, felt a lot softer to the touch, and they actually got brighter. And they have stayed that same way ever since. So what these are phosphor bronze strings with a hexagonal core made of steel. The ends are made from brass, which is also pretty special. But they have a light coating on them to make them last longer. And I assume that's part of what I'm hearing when they sound just as crisp now as they did the day I put them on. And to me, it's a perfect blend because, sometimes a phosphor bronze string can give you false hope. They sound so nice right away, and then after a couple of days, they kind of lose that brightness. They lose that zing. And then it kind of feels like a bit of a letdown. But these are really, really special. So they sound great. I'm really, really pleased with them. And, they're made by a company who's been doing this for a long time. Santa Cruz has been around since 1976. Richard Hoover there has been making these beautiful handmade guitars. And so it's only fitting, I think, when a company like that starts to make their own strings to get the sound that they're after. And trust me, these are different than typical strings. These are the medium tension strings, and I looked it up. I found a chart on the acoustic guitar forum, I believe. And these actually are like a 13 to 56 gauge set, but they do not feel like any 13 to 56s I've ever played in my life. They feel a little stiffer than the light gauge strings I usually put on this guitar, but not nearly as stiff as a medium set of strings typically would be. They actually feel very pliable in the hand. And yeah, the windings just feel good. They feel really, 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 really nice. And they're bringing out the best of my guitar, in my opinion. So I'd say worth a try, because they're quite special. So I want you guys to let me know in the comment section below, have you guys ever tried these Santa Cruz Parabolic tension strings? They aren't cheap. They come out to about, I'd say, $24 a set here in Canada, unless you find a way to buy them in bulk or something. I don't know if that exists, but yeah, they're not cheap. But you know, if you only have a couple guitars to restring, then they're definitely worth a try if you have the budget for them. So I give them thumbs up, 2 thumbs up. I'm very impressed. I always love trying new strings and showing that process to you guys on this channel. And yeah, and I only tell you guys about things I really enjoy on this show, because there's no point. I'm not getting paid by anybody, you know, so there's no point in telling you about things I don't like. So yeah, Magical Gig. I'm going to play you guys out with a little clip from the show. And yeah, just because I want you guys to kind of know how special that was. So thank you so much for watching, and yeah, please do let me know if you've ever tried these Santa Cruz Parabolic tension strings, and we shall see everybody again on the next episode. Take it easy. Bye-bye.